much you can do when you get my age. You forget.
Okay, here we go. Okay, what is your full name?
My full name is Malcolm Keith Dakin.
Okay, and who are your parents?
Nora and Albert. Albert Llewellyn Dakin.
Right.
Can you spell Llewellyn? Llewellyn is his middle name.
And what was your mother's maiden name?
Denton. Nora Muriel Denton.
And who were your grandparents?
George Denton, the famous navigator, and Mary Denton was his wife, my grandmother.
And when were you born?
1911. 2 o'clock in the morning. Very difficult birth. When I came in the world, it wasn't difficult.
And the day that you were born?
That I'd have to look up.
The month and the day. Like you
It was on the 16th of February when I got the first notice that I was on Earth.
Okay. And where were you born?
In Westport.
Okay. And how large was your family?
Well, one died. Albert, he never come to him. Wilfred, Mary. Well, there's 5 of us here altogether. One died. My brother died. They're all dead, all but one.
And where did you fit in the family?
I was the second. Albert was born. His name would have been Albert, but he died in birth. Yeah. And then Wilfred was 2 years older than me, my brother. He was born in 1908. I was born in 11.
Okay. And what did your father do for a living?
Well, he thought he was a fisherman, but he wasn't a very good one. I did the fishing mostly for him, but he was just a little man, 5'2", I guess. Weighed 118, but he thought he weighed a ton, I think. He's a nice man.
And I hear your father painted Joshua Slocum's boat.
Oh, yeah.
Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, well, that was 1894. That was. Dad was 16 then, 17. He was born in 78, my father. He was 16. He and another fellow painted copper. They had to put copper on the boat then before they sailed because to keep them from grassing up the bottom. So they put the copper paint on for him, before he sailed. That was in 1894. And he sailed out of Westport Harbor by 1894, the first trip. He went around the earth, too.
I heard that.
And he came back after 2.5 years. The second time, he didn't come back. He went to the second trip, but he never was heard tell of after that one. But he did go the first one and come back, which is a rare thing with nothing but a sailboat. No engine. Can you imagine that? I can't.
No.
But he made it.
Do you know how big the boat was?
32 feet. I had a picture somewhere of him standing on the side back of the boat. I don't know where it is, though. Yeah. He didn't live in Westport, but he came there to get his boat ready to go.
Right.
And he had a little house he lived in there. And later, they moved the house down off on the breakwater and had a fish house out of it. But that was Josh Slocum's little house. Yeah. That was only 2 houses away from where I lived. Of course, I don't remember him.
Right.
Actually, it was 1894. He took the first trip. That's for sure.
Okay, and what do you remember about your mother's work day?
My mother's what?
Her work day.
Work day? It's endless. The endless work day. No, see, there was no bathrooms then. It was unheard of. There was no water. We carried it. Oh, I carried the most of it from here way down those trees, 2 buckets to a time. My Lord, you can't imagine what work. In the snow, in the ice, whatever. Survival, you had to do it. That's all the water we had, is what I carried. And I know I used to help Mom. I was the only one that did wringing out the clothes. I'll never forget it. Because I should be shot for that, the way I used her. I was teasing her, She'd get on the end of a quilt, We had no rinse water, just that one lot. I'd twist mine and roll. You roll that way, Mom, and I'll roll this way. Oh, Mom, you can do better than that. I'd twist her off her feet, which I shouldn't have done. But the soap suds would come up that high on the quilt, that's all, and carry some more. In the end, there's that soap suds that high, you couldn't wring it out. And I'd help her put them on the line, and they must have weighed a half a ton, I know. My Lord. In the winter. Then the clothespins would stick and freeze, and oh my Lord. I had to do all that because she couldn't. All the rest of them were helpers. They all died.
Okay, so what was a typical school day like?
A typical school day. Well, it depends on whether you mean summer or winter, but in the winter, I'd often jump off the breastwork and go down to low water, to the water's edge. It was warmer there, and go up the beachway, crawl up through the hole there where the store was, and cross the beach and get up through the field and get to school that way. Same way. But sometimes you had to go the other way. In the northeast gale, we had to go in the woods way. They shooing way up around. That's where we had to get there. There was no cars. That was unheard of. There was no ferry boat.
So roughly how long would it have been from your house to the school?
Oh, third of a mile, or it's quite a ways.
Right. Okay, who was your best friend at school?
Oh, Mac's cousins, Maxwell. We got expelled, the pair of us, once. Not for sassing the teacher, for wrestling. We were wrestling out there, I remember that. And one, we wouldn't give up. We went out, the railing was up that high, and the spokes crashed. We went into that and broke the railing. Landed down on the next spout that far, still into it, and rolled all the way downstairs, still nowhere to give up. We landed at the bottom, didn't kill us because we was young, I suppose. Rolled all the way down the stairs, and we still wrestling. We got expelled.
For how long?
The rest of the season. But she did let me write, and I got through. Can you imagine that?
Do you remember how old you were?
Yeah, 15. I was through.
So what types of things would you do with your friends?
What we'd do in the summer, we'd play hooky if I could. Well, from looking in the summertime, for instance, looking out the school window was way up high. Looking down there, well, there was the fishing wire full of fish and the bait, and the pollock jumping. Lord, my eyes are big as that. I wanted to get there. That's where what's the good of me studying? Mine was down there. Because that's where we wanted to get. I played hooky once in a while. I got expelled. I didn't sauce the teacher, though. We never did that to her. She was only 4'11", if she was that. And we felt like giants. We didn't sauce the teacher, no. Once in a while, one of us would go by. We never missed, because the bell, the rope from the bell was way up there hanging down here. And once in a while I'd do it, or Max, just take one more turn, one more knot, and she couldn't reach it. Oh, we'd go out and some torch stick, and then we'd untie it for her, be just as nice, but we tied it up for her, so she couldn't reach it, because she was only that long. But we never sauced her, no, never.
Good.
Oh, I thought the world of her, tell you the truth.
Do you have a favorite memory of school?
Yeah, looking at Miss Hicks's jazz garters, I sit right here, because those stubby legs of hers, and the jazz garters they used to wear around here.
Jazz garters.
Yeah, we call them jazz garters. Bows around here. They had a little, fancy. Jazz garters, we call them. Hold them up there, and they had elastic. And she, we used to see us staring at her legs, because that's what we would do. Tease the devil out of her. We didn't sash her back, though, no. She hit me over the head with a speller, I just smiled.
So what subjects were you taught in school?
Trigonometry, I hated it, but we had 1 year of that, that's all. Geography and history. My subject was always ancient history. I would have been good at that.
So what did you like about that? You just wanted to know about what was going on in the world?
Exactly years ago.
I see.
Before. Every book I ever read was the same. I'm that way yet. I go to the ancient. I know what's going on today. I want to know what went on then. I still do. So does everybody else.
Yeah, that's true.
It's called religion.
What kinds of things did you have to memorize in school?
Well, He used to have spelling bees, and I called myself a sandwich because Helen Coggins and Myrna Guerin, one was 5 days younger than me and the other was 10 days older, which made me a sandwich between them. So they were clever girls. I realized it. They hold spelling bees. Well, to keep up with them, I had to study words. I could spell most anything. I still can spell a lot of words that you'd never believe that I could, but they were clever girls. They still are. They're still alive, both of them. So I know their age.
So how were you disciplined in school?
Disciplined? Oh, we'd get a crack across, or a strap across there, but we'd pull her hand away and she'd hit her own knee half the time, get mad at us. That didn't bother us any. We never sat her back. No.
So how were you disciplined at home?
Disciplined at home, we weren't. We were busy trying to keep alive, believe me. We grew up very young. You had to. Survival. Yep. There was no bathroom. And I remember my Uncle Floyd, he was a big man, but he wouldn't eat. The doctor says, Floyd, you'll die if you don't eat. He did. He died when he was 52 from starvation, but he's a big fellow and strong. And he only had one eye. But Lord, he was quick and everything. But hadn't been for Uncle Floyd, I'd have been dead many times.
So what were your daily chores at home?
Everything. Chop wood, split wood on a crosscut saw. I know your dad's only a little like, come on, the whiff, get in. When my other brother get on a whiff, come on, I'm hauling you in the whole works of the saw. We saw that with a crosscut saw. And that was dull. I had to split all that. And Mama had a hen house in a wood house. Heaven forbid. And I'd get my wood, get a nice pile of wood after a while over there, and then I'd go to get wood, and the hens had been out and done their sums in my, you can imagine that mess. Hen manure, you want a lot of it. I hate hens. And Dad was, but I drove one time, I don't think it's come down yet. Get an armload of that, and oh my Lord, isn't it awful? That's what we had to live. And the toilet was outdoors, 100 feet up in a northeast wind, and the toilet paper was a sheet of the slippery kind off of a tea and catalog. The slippery page. That was the toilet paper. This is true. And anybody can tell you that, Jack, or any of them, that's all it was.
Amazing.
The windows had never been puttied. They just little nails like that and stuck them up there. If it hadn't been for the snow, we would have paralyzed, that's all. The snow kept us from freezing to death. Once the snow come, it was way up there and stayed there. We'd have our house dug under the snow. That's where you keep. We had a fort under there. Stay all winter. Warm in there. Yep, sure. There was nowhere to go.
So, okay, after your chores were done, what would you do with your free time?
What didn't we do? I don't know. When I got a little bigger, I'd go take my gun and go down and see if I could get a duck like that. I'd chase them. I'd often walk 12 miles a day, wasn't anything. You had to do something. I'd walk 12 miles lots of days.
Were you a good hunter?
No. I didn't want to kill anything anyway. My Uncle Floyd, they wouldn't eat. My Uncle Floyd, they would shoot flying. They were good shots. I wasn't. I had an old gun there, but they wouldn't eat sea ducks or old squaws, call them. I would. So they'd bring me some. I'd take them, and I'd pick them. I'd eat them all right, clean them. I didn't shoot the ducks at all. They shot them for me. I was never much of a gunner. I just liked to walk.
What was your favorite holiday when you were a child?
Christmas, I suppose. However, I knew who old Sandy was when I was 5 years old. I peeked down and saw Mom and Dad doing it, so I lost all interest in Christmas. Because I knew who old Sandy was when I was 5 years old. I saw him. There was nothing. Then there was a, I remember a little later, that's just a few years later than that, Dr. Best, the optometrist from Yarmouth, he came up. Somehow, he got a car across. I don't know how, because they didn't have any ferry then. He got it across on the island. It was a Franklin car, and he was an optometrist. He had money, I suppose. It had no doors here, the hollow place. The big hollow, it was the horn was out there. You squeeze that through a horn. Emergency brake out here, hard rubber tires, and a gravel road. You can imagine the ride, all the thumping right. Uncle Floyd let me drive it. Oh, I was happy. I was doing 15 miles an hour right now, but you talk. Hard rubber tires, air-cooled engine. That engine stayed around there for years. It was a Franklin car, air-cooled. How they got it on the island, I don't remember. But they got it.
What pets do you remember having?
Pets. Oh, we always had a couple of cats. We had a she cat that was worth a dozen ordinary cats. My brother was a cat man. I wouldn't hurt cats. I love to tease them. They hate water so bad. I just love to. I'd sit with a water pistol and wait with that was going on. I could aim that. Had a big water. Hit it between the eyes. I would turn hands rings and go, "What's the matter with that cat?" I don't know what's the matter with that thing. After a while, it kept its distance from me. It didn't catch me. I put right there. I had a big water pistol that long. My sister got a hold of it, destroyed it on me because my cat repellent. I love to tease cats. It doesn't hurt them. It just hurts their feelings.
Right.
Water will not hurt a cat. Don't they hate water? They sure do. We had a trained cat, believe me.
Okay, what was it like at your house when the catalog arrived?
The Eaton catalog?
The Eatons or the Sears catalog?
Yeah, the Eaton, man.
Yeah.
Robert Simpson's and there was one, and then the Eaton. What was it like? Well, that's where we ordered what we got for Christmas, but mostly we didn't get anything for Christmas. I was against that because I still am, because if you got a kid about before Christmas with cold, one thing another cold weather and no shoes, you'll get one Christmas. I said that kid could be dead before Christmas. I disagree. I still do.
If they need it, give it to them.
No, they wouldn't. We had to wait till Christmas. Wait till Christmas. Well, you could have been dead before that. I'm against it. I still am. Because I knew there was no old Sandy at a very early age.
Where else did you get things that you needed, like clothes and materials, that kind of stuff?
Well, I was older now. I'd be 17, 16. First tailor-made suit cost me $17.50. That was a beautiful suit of clothes, too. A beautiful suit of clothes.
And where did you get it from?
We had a tailor come there. He took my measurements, and beautiful clothes. I got another suit up there. You'd never believe it. You want to look at it, I'll show it to you. It's brand new. There's never been a mark on it. I don't know. It didn't cost very much. You'd swear that was a $200 suit. It is, too.
So how old were you when you got your first suit?
About 16.
And what did you buy it for?
Well, you had to court the girls and something. You couldn't go out in the bare back, so come on, you got to have clothes. You're very proud at that age. I had to
How
look
much
one day.
spending money did you have as a child?
Christmas, we had $1. $1. I was very brainy one. I should tell you this, but I told Jack the other night. He was snickering. I said, "That's me every time." $1. That was your Christmas. And then we get a stocking. We'd have a lump of coal, whatever. But I went up to Mr. John Churchill's store with mine, and my brother, he's 2 years older than me. He should have known. And I saw this beautiful toy there. Of course, I was always financially ahead of everything. I wanted that awful bad. And Mr. Churchill says, it's a wonderful toy. He'd sell it to me for $1. That's what I had. I bought it. I bought it. Got home and had all it needed was a winder. I can whiff. I thought I settled for a 3-cent juice harp in the end. I went down happily playing the juice harp. I never did get that thing wound up. The key wine. What's the good of the toy when you couldn't wind it? I couldn't think that far ahead. I wanted it, but I couldn't wind her up. So I sold it back to Whiff for a juice harp. That one kind of, you heard of it? 3 cents. That's the kind of a money maker I was. I lost 97 cents. I said, no wonder I never got along any better financially. I gave everything I had away. I still do.
Okay, so what was your religion?
None. Is yours?
Yeah.
Well, you put Protestant if you wish. Our erring daughter, the Catholics call you. I think it's a mess of baloney.
Okay. So what were Sundays like in your household when you were growing up?
Sundays? Oh, we had to go to Sunday school. Oh, yeah. And we had Mrs. Louis Poole, Miss Louis Poole, she was, and they sit there and clip their heels and she'd teach about Satan, or a great big tail, horns, you know. That's the way Satan was shown to us. Imagine such foolishness. Can you? I can't. Even though I knew better than that. Anyway, she put her 10 cents in. Oh, yeah. She taught us what we know in Sunday school. All we do is snicker. What the hell did that mean to us kids?
What was your favorite hymn?
Favorite hymn? Uncle Gerald, I think it was Uncle Gerald. He was a wonderful voice. That's my Uncle Gerald. He had a lovely voice. Was it a prodigal son, or out on the wilderness, wild and drear, sadly I wandered for many years? He could sing, really. Everybody thought so. I did. What a voice he had. I'd like to have that voice. Tenor. He's a good singer. A beautiful singer. Then I decided, of course, I run, I run into, riding down, coasting downhill, I run into down the Violet Fields called, and there was a post there, and I had a damn fool that I was. I was holding on like this, and she went around the post like that. But what happened to me, I don't know how much blood they took out of me. It nearly killed me, knocked my face all to pieces. I hit the post, face on. I'll never forget that. I can see that basin full of blood yet. God, how dumb can you be? That's what happened.
Did anybody else live in the house with your family when you were a child?
Yeah. We took boarders.
Oh, did you?
The bandmaster, which I never was in, he stayed there. Not much money involved. My brother was in the band. I was too young. I didn't get it. Of course, I had an old trombone. I don't know. They always wondered how I did that. I don't know myself. Because my face was all knocked to pieces. I had no teeth. Just how in the devil anybody could play a trombone that way, I don't know. But we were up trading for fish up to Weymouth, and Donald Barkhouse, his wife, had a valve trombone, a little nickel-colored one. Oh, I got behind that. Dad bought it for me, $15. Oh, actually, I learned to play it on valves. I could play that. I don't know how I did it, though. I played that. And then I got a slide drum afterwards. I could play that, no problem. They asked me, well, how do you transpose music? I said, I don't transpose it. I don't know. When he says, you're transposing it, I said, I don't know how I'm doing it. Don't ask me, just give it to me and I'll play it. I could, too. Transpose that and play with it. But I remember I got up one time playing up here. It was quite a ways down to the door. I had a plug for the spit valve. Well, that was where I had a plug in there. I blew the plug out and that went down and hit the door. I had eyes like an eagle. I never said a word on it. Walked down, picked up the plug, went back and shoved it in, played the piece. The plug for the spit valve. You had the bolts. I had a wooden plug in there. I played in public a lot. I played on the Digby bandstand for the Princess one. Can you believe it?
Well, yeah, tell me about that.
Well, I played the old Home on the Farm and variations. Now, I'm telling you. I don't know how I did it, but I did it.
So was that when the princess was coming to Digby? Or
Well, she was in there, yeah, but this was on the bandstand. It was me on the bandstand. I played that. Ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. I could stutter everything but triple. I couldn't triple tongue because I had no teeth. I had teeth, but not any of your own. You have to put well, I say a trumpet, you have to push 60 pounds here before you can, or your cheeks will pop out. You had to, but I could play the darn thing. I'd have loved to have been a player, but I had no teeth. What are you going to do?
So you said you went to Weymouth. You used to go to Weymouth to trade things?
Yeah.
So
We
how-
traded fish for winter's vegetables, otherwise we would have starved. We had all kinds of nice fish. We'd take them up and we'd barter with the farmers. They'd come out and we'd have salt herring, salt, everything fresh, slat pollock, mackerel, all salted, all kinds of fish.
So how often would you have gone to Weymouth?
Just one.
Just like once a
Year.
Once a year.
October, we had to be back. And we'd have 11 barrels of potatoes for our crowd at least, and so many heads of cabbage, and so many turnips are 80 cents a barrel.
So how would you have got to Weymouth?
Oh, we had a boat. We had to go on the boat.
Oh, you just sailed over.
Yep. It's 18 miles. Well, they made a week out of that. That was a great week. We traded for everything.
So you didn't raise vegetables yourselves then?
No, we traded fish for it. Yeah, we had a whole boatload all winter. We had apples coming during season. And, yep. Real apples. Can't get them today like that.
Okay, so how did electricity change things for you?
Oh, well, that didn't come till 1930 odd. The first one was failure. They got a little, but they tried to get their own, but it didn't work. I don't know just what year electricity came there. When we had to study our lessons with a Aladdin lamp, with a mantle.
Right.
Beautiful light, and then we get studying, and then we turned it up. First, it kept getting darker, and you get down like this. Look, the mantle was all black, so you had to turn it down. It would freeze itself again. To get a bright light, it would turn the mantle black. We'd studying with the nose way down here. That's what we had. We had nothing. In fact, I never even got to cross the Freeport till I was 20 odd, a mile across the passage. As soon as I got big enough to go off in the harbor fishing, I'd go pretty near over there, but what else was going to go into Freeport? Nowhere to go. You couldn't walk to Tiverton. It was always snow. Oh, my Lord. You wouldn't know.
So there wouldn't have been, when you went over to, when you were 20 years old, you said, before you got to Freeport.
Yeah.
There still wasn't a ferry then?
Yeah, they had, after a while, Arthur Sullivan got a boat and an engine, and he took, at 6 o'clock, he'd bring the mail over at 5, and at 6 he'd get back. That was the end. You can't get over to Freeport after that. And if you got back there, you stayed there. I used to get down and pick them up after I got married down there, and I'd actually get caught over.
Okay, so when did you get running water?
Well, it was quite a long time before we got running water. We got back of us up on the hill was a big reservoir, a big place. They made the well up there and they run the pipe, quite a long ways, down over the hill to all the houses branched off. That supplied all the water. That one place up there. It was force feed. No electricity was involved there. That was a long time. I was quite old when that.
What was bath night like at your house?
Bath night. Well, I managed all right, but the rest I don't know. I never could stand being dirty, but I carried the water. But Whiff, he wouldn't. My brother, he couldn't. Most amazing man, Whiff. I called him Whiff. You know, he was the exact opposite. I remember Bill Franken, you never think that two people come out of the same womb as those two. The exact opposite, and we were the best of friends. Whiff and I were. Hermie and Lawrence would have murdered each other, but Whiff and I were great friends. Come on, Dennis, you know, I go, left-handed Jackie, don't put box gloves on with him because one hand is as good as the other. I could show you if I had it, his work, we got him to Acadia University. I don't know what it was, we paid it somehow, got him. He took mathematics, which he should have never done. That would have been my line. Instead, but look, his examination papers where they give him something to copy freehand. You can't tell that from the original. With me, I'd be all over the place, and he could do it with either hand. I know a girl down there, either hand, look out. That's rare. Joan Franklin thinks she can do this. Get up and paint, little bugger, it's strong. She goes along this way. You can't. You try a right-handed man, he can't over there. He'd have himself killed. And she can really paint a house twice as fast as anybody else.
How did you take care of your teeth?
I didn't have any. I knocked them out.
Well, the other members of your family, how would they have taken care of their teeth?
Same way we all lost them. Unless you happen to have good teeth, which we never did. I went down to Yarmouth to have mine out. I took laughing gas. I didn't call it laughing gas. I went up to Taylor, which I had to walk up in the winter to the dentist's office. And he threw that over my head and knocked me out with laughing gas. And I can never forget those hydro poles hitting me inside the head, because I wasn't quite out. Every time, bang, I hit every one side of my head. When I come to, I had him pretty near killed. I had him down on it, trying to get a tooth, and I didn't. I felt him, in other words. The hydro poles hit me inside the head. Believe me, I haven't forgotten it yet. I had no teeth. I had nothing.
Who delivered the babies in your community?
Dr. Weir. When you could get across, or else the midwives did it.
So where was Dr. Weir located?
Freeport. That was like going to Egypt.
Right.
In the winter. I had to go for him quite a few times.
And you had midwives, you say?
Oh, yeah. Cora Thompson, Sharon Bailey, they just go to the doctor. Oh, yeah. That's the only doctor you had.
Okay, when someone died, what happened to the body?
Well, they buried it after 3-4 days, that's all.
Did you have wakes back then?
Not wakes, just funerals. The minister would preach the merits of the deceased. I call it deceased. And
so you had a funeral home that the body rested at, or would you?
oh yeah.
Okay.
And the big hearse. I remember somebody singing, "Did you ever think when the hearse rolled by that someday you are going to die?" You know, kids would sing this. I can see that yet, that big black. I carried a good many people out. I seemed to be the only strong man on earth. They'd come to me every time.
Okay, so what were some home remedies that would have been common when you were growing up?
A cold, mustard poultice right across there. Wool over it. Cover you up and you sweat your heart out. But it would cure the cold. There comes that cat. Look at that, Jack.
So
Well,
you would
good.
just put mustard, plain mustard on your
Oh
chest?
yeah.
And
That's why I got no hair on my chest.
And then you would cover it with a piece of cloth.
Yes, sir.
And it would make you sweat.
Oh yeah, you'd put a smart. That's why I got no hair on my chest. It come out on the thing. Well, that cat was gonna make friends. She's got the whitest belly I ever saw.
She's beautiful, eh? So how often did you leave town? Did you leave Westport?
We didn't. How was I going to get across the harbor? There was nowhere to go. Jack Tinker wasn't alive then. It's before he was born. Oop.
That's okay.
Oh, my heavens.
It won't hurt nothing. Oops. Wait a second.
Oh, that was what I stepped in. I just wanted to see you to see my white socks. That's why I did that.
Yeah.
There.
Okay. Okay. What were the roads like?
What were they like? Mud, gravel. No, no. Yeah, what like it?
So in the wintertime, who would look after the roads?
Well, we all had to get out and shovel snow. It's something big enough. You shovel for nothing. You didn't get any money for this. We had to shovel or die.
So how far would you have to shovel? What?
Shovel the road up so we could get up there. There was nothing, no cars or anything. We get a road up. In fact, we were buried under snow. Stayed there. If it hadn't been for the snow, we would have frozen.
Yeah, you were saying that.
When it got up high, it stopped the wind. Yeah.
What do you remember about your teenage years?
Teenage? Oh. There wasn't much for us. We just keep house with the girls, you know. We didn't bother the girls. We just keep house. They'd go out and let us keep house with them. Give us something to do. We played post office with the girls.
There were the pants your mother made.
What?
There were the pants your mother made to go to school in.
Oh, yeah. My mother, she had to make my pants. I remember that. And down here, instead of a zipper, you had a flap, like a rudder. If that got out, you sugar right all the breastwork. Come on. It's like a rudder out here. That went in there. You had to go. It was a fact, a rudder. I could see. They had to do everything. Make her clothes out of anything you could. Yo, what a life.
Did you have underwear made out of flour bags?
We made her boat sails later out of flour bags. I knew everybody's boat. Scott Perry's was Cream of the West. You could read it from miles off. Robin Hood. Flower, another one. You could tell by who it was by the. You could see the writing through the factory cotton was. They'd stitch them on the sewing machine. Yeah.
What kind of music did you like?
Opera.
Opera?
I still do. Provided the right singers on it. This new one, Baselli there, Andre Baselli, he's the best I ever heard. Did you hear him?
Yes, I have.
He's the best. There's nothing can equal him. No effort. You ever hear tell him sing anything like that? He can go just like a bird and never perspire and never seem to be breathing. He's got all the rest of them beat a mile there. They look so they're going to explode. Pavarotti, they're wiping their head off. And there's no effort for him. He's a wonderful singer. I'd like to hear him again. I know when he came on this last one, tour of the United States, his father had just died, and he wanted him to sing up against the Statue of Liberty. I'll never forget it, because he sang, and I listened. And oh, sure. It showed a picture. I went over, the tears were running down on my face. And every person there, the 10,000, were all crying. That's what kind of a voice he's got. I wasn't the only one who was crying. It's such a voice. And he's blind. He has no eyes at all. He really is blind. What a gift.
That's true, what a gift.
He's wonderful. How he knows when to come in exactly right, I don't know. It's the gift of the gods. It's a shame. He's such a nice-looking fellow, too. The girls all love him. He just can't see him.
What kind of sports did you enjoy?
Sports. Oh, we played ball, anything in the summer, anything we could do. Football, we'd kick each other in the shins, and no science to it. We had to work too much to play. We had to chop alders, 80 cents a day, chop all day. That's all they ever got paid. I was reading there in the annals of Freeport just lately, the Crocker store was there, and the book was there in the 1890s. Scale of wages, $25, but you didn't gain it. You didn't get any money. $25 is what you earned for the month. And eggs, 4 cents a dozen or something. Milk, if you get in, beans, 2 or 3 cents a pound, all this. Rubber boots, $1 a pair, like that. But you didn't get any money. You just lived out of the store. Your wages for the month was $25. Then it went to 30. Heavens, imagine that. It would take me an hour to tell you what I did for $30. You couldn't believe it. It'd take all day to tell it.
What do you remember about dating?
Dating?
Dating.
Oh, I only had one girl, Dorma. I never forgot her. She died last year. It's a shame. I wish she hadn't, though. She was 80, just my age, a year younger than me. She had little freckles on her face. She was awful cute. No, we knew what girls were different than we were, but we didn't bother the girls.
What did you expect to do when you grew up?
Well, I don't remember growing up. I worked so goddamn hard. I was old before I knew it. Come on, you don't know what tough life was. Gee.
Okay, how far did you go in school?
Grade 11. That's as far as you could go.
So that would have been why you left school then?
Oh, I passed with my exams and was 15 years old when I was out of school. True was what you could get there. You had to go to college after that. My brother, we got him to college for 2 years. I got there not at all. He was a wonderful painter. He died with sarcoma.
Which is what?
Well, it's not carcinoma. Carcinoma is cancer, but sarcoma is cancer of the lymph glands here.
Oh, yeah.
Rapidly fatal. It lasted 60 days after he'd been diagnosed. He was 66 when he died.
Okay, once you left school, what did you do?
Fish.
Did you?
Nothing else to do.
I hear you have a Charles Lindbergh story to tell me.
Oh, yeah. Well, in his story, he flew over my head. He's the one, I'm the one that he saw. He doesn't know that. I was fishing, and it was a fine day in May. It was 1928, that was, in May. And I was 17 years old. And I was in the bow of my boat. It was fine. I was to save gas, which was 18 cents a gallon then. But we couldn't afford to burn it. The engine was stopped, and it was so fine. I was in the bow of a tub down between my legs, hauling over the roller and what's not. And I heard a buzzing sound, you know. I didn't know what. I'd never seen an airplane in my life. But I happened to look in and glanced and I saw this thing coming up in the air, like a hornet or something. Of course, he saw me from the air before I did him. He came down, right down close. It was the Spirit of St. Louis on the side. Charles Lindbergh, a little white biplane. He came down. He wasn't 50 feet from me anymore, much. And over my head, and he waved. I waved back at him. He mentioned it in his memoirs, but he doesn't know who it was. I never did.
So when he flew down over you, did you know that that was Charles Lindbergh
Yes.
at that time?
Well, yes.
So you had read stories that
Oh,
he
yes.
was-
Oh, I know. I knew who it was. You couldn't miss because it was the Spirit of St. Louis right on the side of her. A white biplane. Oh, yes. They didn't go very fast then, about 90 miles an hour, I'd say. I don't know how they ever got there, but he got around the world just the same. He made it.
Amazing.
But he must have had to come down by places to gas up because he couldn't never get around the world at that speed. Lord.
Right.
He made it. And then there was
Did
wrong
you
way.
see his face when he went by?
Oh, yeah, he's only a young, nice-looking fellow. I could see him. He just waved like that. He wanted me to see him. That's why he came down, so they'd know where he went. I don't know how he'd come over that way, but he was going northwest, about west-northwest. I could see. He got there. And then along the other guy tried to emulate him. The wrong way, Corrigan, he was called. He got more. He got more honor than the other because he flew backwards. They called him wrong way Corrigan. He landed in Ireland out of gas. Where am I? Oh my God. Hey, he didn't know where he was. He'd been going backwards. So they called him wrong way Corrigan. They made a lot of him. He was a dapper. Landed in Ireland out of gas. Of course, they gassed him up and gave him a great hand. He got back alive. What a funny thing. And then there was the other one, Amelia Earhart. She went at this time. She brought a year or two later. She and Fred Noonan.
Right.
That was her co-pilot. They never made it. Yeah. They heard them talking, but they were close, but they didn't make it. Something happened. Nobody knows what. They didn't get there.
Okay, so how old were you when you got married?
25 exactly.
How did you meet your wife?
Oh, she used to come over Westport. The girls did, you know. That's the only place they had. She was only 17.
And where was she from?
Freeport, right along south.
Okay.
That's her, the little one up here. Has she been down here today? She's here. She's 4 feet half long. She was cute then, believe me, she was.
So once you were married, where did you live?
I had to move over and take the old house. They gave it to me. I wish they hadn't. Hadn't been for my neighbors, I would have gladly burned it up.
So you were
Oh.
living in Freeport with her?
Yeah.
Right.
Working night and day trying to get in that bloody old house with no bathroom. Oh my God, you got no idea. I don't know how I ever did. I remember falling off the house and ruptured myself. I went for years with 2 trusses on here. Pretty near killed me.
Okay, what year did you start your first job?
Always. Since I was 10, I've been working like a dog. Who else? In our house, they were all sick. Come on, everyone.
What kind of work did you do?
Oh, fish and work on the road. And then I took a job with Dad and I both when I got older. We run the fish firm at Barkhouses there. 2 of us together was $70 a month. He got $40 and I got 30. Of course, I didn't do it. The 2 of us for that. But I saved my 30. I didn't do it till I bought a boat with it. The whole boat complete was $280, I remember, including pump. And we fished that for years afterwards. God, I never saw a cent. Didn't know. You couldn't make anything. You know the price of fish? 4/10 of 1 cent a pound, not 4 cents a pound. 4/10. 100 pounds of hake for 40 cents. How could you make any money? Over 5,000 pounds of fish for $21 stock, and you had to pay your gas out of it and your bait. How could you make anything? You couldn't. You couldn't make $30 in a week to save your soul. Couldn't. That's the way it went for years, too.
Okay, what role did the fish buyers play in your life?
Fish buyers, they put us in the poorhouse. Here, let me tell you something. You wanted to know something. I don't see if I can remember that, what I would put down. See if you can remember this. Oh, yes, Josh Slocum, yeah. He went out in 1894, first one, yeah. He was lost on the second, yeah. Yeah, and I was coming in, my brother and I, it was a fine morning. No wind. Coming up the bay, and I saw inside of me something looked like a little boat there. So I sheared off, went into it, and it was a lifeboat. Oh, what a beautiful boat. Over 20 feet long. The most beautiful engine in it when you got aboard of it. What a lovely boat it was. We towed it in, actually. It belonged to the Navy, of course. So they took it. They never said thank you. We took, what a beautiful engine that was. I found out later, 40 years later to be exact, that boat was lost. 42 men were lost in that boat. She had been torpedoed. I suppose she's on bottom her, I don't know. But that was the boat. Or where it come from, but we towed it in. It had never a mark on it. It had never been started. And that's how it got there.
So you
Now,
know the name of that boat?
oh, I can't remember the name. Yeah, it had a name. And then Raymond Thurber and I, we trawled down there years there after the war in airplanes. We hauled up 2 airplane wings, half wings. Boyd Green got another one out in the gully a little ways. That's 3 I know of that we hauled up the insignia right on. They must have been lost. We didn't hear a thing. We were fishing right amongst it, but I never heard anything like it. But they must have been must have been shot down. 3 I know of. Brought the wings in. You don't know what was going on there. We knew we were being looked at through periscope, but we were too small for them. They didn't want us to see them, so we didn't see them.
Right.
No, they didn't bother us. 42 men lost to get the job.
Okay, getting back to the question I asked you about the fish buyers, you used to sell your fish
Oh, yeah.
to
Well,
where?
the fish firm where we got our groceries, that one was a fish firm. Plus the groceries, there was a grocery store beside. He bought the fish. We didn't get any money. We took our groceries. First we
So
took-
that was like the company store.
Exactly. That's the way we got that one. But money, no, we salted our own after a while. We got a little bit more, but we didn't get any money much. No.
So can you tell me the name of the place that you sold the fish to?
Yeah, we sold Fred Barkhouses. I worked there for 2-3 years splitting fish. So we sold our fish to him. And E.C. Bowers Company. That's Raymond Robichaux's today. Yep. No money involved. We got no money. The audacity of me getting married is what I can't believe that I was that silly. Nothing the matter with my wife. Where was I going to take her? You can't take her in the house with another mother-in-law when the wife would never get along, would they? You try that. They wouldn't get along. So I moved to Freeport.
What do you remember about wartime?
Well, this was wartime. A lot of it. Well, we spent an awful lot of time pulling lumber in. We'd go out and get whole boatloads of lumber, the prettiest lumber you ever seen. We knew something had been destroyed because the place was loaded with wood. We'd pick up a boatload and take it in, go pick up another one, take it
And
in.
take it in where?
Well, pile it up in there. I think they gave us $20 a load or something. There's such great loads of wood. But that's what they built their wars out of. Today you can't get a good piece of wood.
That's
Oh,
true.
there was plank, 2-inch plank, long and great long 2 or 4s, and not a mark on them. They blew the boat up, whatever, and that was lumber all over the place. We'd had to stop fishing to bring the lumber in. Lots of times. Wrestle that out. All he got is $20 for bringing it in. Whole boat. We couldn't go fishing for lumber. Daresn't go out at night, my lord. The place was loaded. The streaks were full of them. You'd have been sunk. You had to pick it up and bring it in. Load the boat.
So how did the Second World War affect your family?
1940s. Well, we were fishing. I was fishing. I was just one. When they come to me, I was 30 years old, and I was ruptured. I was just 30 years old, and I was ruptured. They just come to my age, or I would have had to go. But they wouldn't take me because I was ruptured, on account they'd had to operate. They took Donnie and operated on him. He was younger. Well, he got ruptured there, so they operated on him. But they wouldn't take me ruptured, so I didn't have to go at all. It's just cleared ignorant. I'm glad of that. I don't like to kill people. So I escaped that. That's when that happened. I didn't have to go.
What do you remember about the Depression?
It was all depression. I don't remember anything but depression. No. We didn't get any money. When I went west, I got fed up after a while on all this work I was doing. And I got ulcers, stomach ulcers. Lord, I'll never forget them. I got in Yarmouth. Well, he says, I was sick an awful lot, but I could still keep going. Doctor says, we took x-ray, you have one monstrous ulcer. Have to operate. Well, I said, Doctor, I can't think of his name, but I will. I mean, if you think I'm strong enough, I've also ruptured. I've been operated on 4 times for this, and it breaks right out. Well, I don't know. If you think I'm strong enough, would you do them both at once? Oh. Anyway, I come to her after a while, I said, when you going to? I said, it's all done. That was some slick how they got to me. He said, I'll guarantee you had 1 monstrous ulcer, you were blocked off. But he says, you have had 19 beside that healed. I'd throw up and take soda, and this time he took that out, took my stomach out, 2/3 of it out, threw it down back to the hospital. I got 1/3. That's what I got. And he goes, he says, your little rupture, yeah, he says, I noticed it's a big one. He says, I did what I could, but I won't guarantee that. He may as well, because that's the best job I ever had. I've lifted everything there was, and I can't break it out. The other guys, they were just sticking, instead of putting a patch under it, which he probably did, and then it worked. I never had it again. I've only got 1/3 of a stomach. They wonder why I can't eat 14 eggs. I said, I can't. I'll eat 1 at a time. I can't eat 2. So,
So how did your parents pass on their possessions?
we didn't have any possessions. They had nothing. How could they? They were both sick. Dad was sick all his life. I had to tow him, my brother, and everybody else. Wonder I had to kill myself, I'm telling you. In fact, I think I did. I did some work. I can't imagine it was me did that. I did it.
Okay, so how did people help each other out in days gone by that's different from today?
Well, it snowed forever. Good thing it did. We all had to turn out and shovel snow. Women, everybody shoveled snow, from Tiverton right down to Freeport. The whole islands were out shoveling all day long till it never stopped snowing that way. I remember the doctor had an old car after a while, but he'd go down to the ferry, but you couldn't see him from there. The snow was so high you couldn't see the car as you go down. Oh my Lord, what snow. Snowed the top of the hydro poles. I walked right over the hydro poles. They all winter. Hadn't been for that, we'd have frozen to death. Yes, we would. Tell me, I don't know when we could. Oh.
Do you remember anything about the poor farm?
Poorhouse?
Yeah, the poorhouse.
Well, I remember it was there. That was in Freeport.
Marshalltown.
Marshalltown, yeah, that's right. Oh, I know, yeah. It was in Marshalltown. Yes, it was there when I remember it all right. Thank heavens I didn't have to go in it. But
Did you ever go to the poorhouse?
no, we could buy it every day
Right.
when I go there.
Okay.
That was there. Well, it's been quite a while since they tore it down, but it was there.
What were elections like?
Maud Lewis, remember her?
Yeah, do you remember Maud Lewis?
Yeah. And her, man, they stole his money and killed him. One of them.
Yeah.
It's just crappy.
So did you ever stop at Maud's house?
No, but I've seen her, just a little tiny woman.
Yeah,
These cattle with the eyelashes, she was cute.
yeah,
You buy one of her cards today, you'll pay for it.
that's right.
Yeah. They've got a little place built the same size there.
Mm.
Probably noticed it. Oh, yes, Maud Lewis. She was cute. Just a little thing.
Yeah, she was very tiny.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, what do you remember about elections?
Election?
Yeah.
Oh, that was a big day. My father and Ed Pugh, they were rank Tories. And then there was the Liberals. But Dad and my Ed Pugh were always ranked conservative, Tories we call them. Oh, they would fight all day over that. That was a big day, next day. If you wasn't careful, most all of them get drunk, too.
Yeah.
Get treated. Oh, they was right there trying to get you to vote for them.
What do you remember about the first time you voted?
Well, I didn't care anything which side. I didn't care which side was in. I was too busy trying to keep alive to care anything about elections. Didn't mean anything, whether it was Tory or Liberal.
What is the worst weather you can remember?
Well, the worst storms that we had was like a D-Day, we called it. But a sea come up the big meadow home in Westport, I was in. My sister had a store, Raymond Robbie, or E.C. Bowers' store. The whole works went. One sea caught the big meadow and took everything. My sister's store yet, it went right up like that, took her, going up by the shoal buoy, it hadn't sunk yet, it went out to the northern, my sister's store. It went to leak in, but it went right out through, and everything else went with it. There was nothing.
Do you remember when that was?
Well, yes. That was, they got pictures of that down home, I guess they have. That was the worst storm I've ever heard tell of.
Do you remember what year it was?
Not really exactly, but it's quite a while ago, about perhaps, must have been 25 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know that. Jack probably remembers it.
Okay. I need to know about any shipwrecks in your area, and specifically, do you know anything about a Greek ship that exploded during World War II?
Well, I've heard tell one that's up off of Turton, I think.
Right.
Somewhere also, they don't know where. They've never discovered her. I know there was one there now. It's off of Tiverton somewhere. They know approximately, but the water's so deep.
Do you remember about it when it happened?
Yeah, they couldn't get a diver to go that deep. Deep water out there.
Right.
And that's where they think it is. Could be 90 fathoms of water. That's deep, awful pressure. Then they didn't know how to dive that deep. I dare say if they could discover a lot of their bathoscopes today, if they wanted to. No, they never did know. Well, we heard of it, but nobody knows just where she went down. Off of Tiverton, somewhere.
Do you know anything about the Robert Can?
Oh yeah. Keith Can and Robert Can were sister ships. Keith Can was the one that worked for us all for years. That was our way of getting stuff from St. John once a week, go down to Yarmouth, come back once a week from Yarmouth. We got everything that way on the boats. My father was one auxiliary cook on the Keith Can, so I got sails once in a while. I could go sailing with them. They were good to me. I'd go on and go to Yarmouth with them. It's the only way I'd ever get off the island. She's hugging me, Willie.
There.
Devil.
Do you know anything about the Colombo?
Colombo. No. I never heard of that one.
Okay.
Monticello, Cobequid. That one. The Aurora went shore on, by around down to P-Jack. That was her name, the Aurora. There's wood. Hermie saw me jump out of the wood from the Aurora. She went shore early 1900s there. And Monticello off of Yarmouth, I think it was. And there was one went down on the Trinity, Westway. The Westway went ashore, come up Pond Cove. She was there for years too.
So what was the Trinity? A name?
Yeah, it's a rock that comes out, and she got on it. I've been up alongside the Trinity many times. You could sit on it, come out on it, did low water. It was smooth, an awful rock. She hit that, so the mess. The wrecks, oh my Lord, all over the place.
Okay, so how did your community police itself?
Police?
Yeah.
There wasn't any police.
Okay.
Might have been in Digby, but they couldn't get down home.
So how was the law enforced in Westport?
Well, ask Jack. How was the law enforced in Westport? Fisticuffs, I guess.
Fisticuff, what's that?
Hit each other in the nose and knock the brains out of it. There was no law.
Okay. Who was the largest employer in Westport?
That would be C. Bowers
And
Company.
that was a fish plant?
Yeah, in the store. That was the main store of all.
So so that would have been another company store.
Yep,
So the people,
sure they was. They kept he had loads of coal come, and he stored it in the poorhouse and off the end of the war, and all kinds of lumber, anything you wanted, he had there. And we'd have to take it on tick paper. Later, you had to pay in the end. But he got us by, or we'd have starved to death altogether. But boy, they didn't pay us much. Well, they remained rich, and the rich got richer, and the poor got poorer. Simple as all that.
Yes.
That's the way it was.
So then you would take your fish to this
Oh yeah, sell them.
buyer,
Take no money.
and then you would just take out
Yep.
in goods.
In the fall, we would split a lot and dry them and take them over trade. We'd buy. We had to live some way.
Right.
In fact, we had better food than they got today,
I believe
and
that.
better fish. Oh yes, we had the finest cod. We knew how to handle it too.
So did you belong to any organizations? You know, like the Knights of Columbus?
No. Oh, I joined the Odd Fellows, and I joined the Masons, and I didn't go very much. They went and sunk me. I said, well, this is quick masonry. I don't want any, so I quit right there. I didn't see if they used me any better. That's foolishness. Yeah, I joined the Odd Fellows.
So what was the object of the Odd Fellows?
Well, they'd meet there certain nights, you know, and they had a good time. I had nothing against it. But I had a ring made in Yarmouth, a double emblem, and it had both the Masonic and the Odd Fellows links on the one ring. Going west, when I went west later, fellow was looking, I said, it's a nice ring you got there. I said, well, what do you mean? You have a double emblem. You belong to the Masons and the Odd Fellows. Yeah. He noticed that. I didn't think any more of that. It was a tailor-made one. They didn't make them that way. I had both emblems on one ring. I gave it to somebody after a while.
So was this just strictly men, or could women join?
All women had Rebecca's.
I see.
Same thing, but no. There was no women Odd Fellows. There were Rebecca's, I think. That's that.
Okay, what do you remember about tourists coming to your area?
Some came there, but not like that. They used to bring the tent there. They used to bring a tent, put it up, and have a whole week of that once in a while.
So how
It's
would
called
they
a Chautauqua, I think. I remember one guy called it the Chuckawa, but it's Chautauqua, and he didn't know. But they came and they pitched their tent, made a week.
So how would they have got there?
Oh, I don't know, but they got there. They tent and they had them up there. I forget how they did. It was a long time ago.
Right.
They must have had a boat, but the first ferry I remember only traveled 6 o'clock at night. She'd come over and but there was no scows or no cars then. There weren't.
Okay, so
You wanted to get the old doctor to take a tooth out. It was a great big giant of a man. He'd take a tooth out, no problem at all. He was, wham, he was going like that. He was so slick. Yeah, painless dentistry, all right.
Okay, when would people get together for a good time?
Well, that was a good time when that came. Boy, that was a week of revelry, I'll tell you. Oh, yeah. There was lots of alcohol running around there one few years. Because the boat, Robert and Arthur, went ashore on Northern Point, she was loaded with alcohol. Holy Belgian hand brand alcohol, 192 proof. Good Lord, everybody was drunk.
Yeah.
You couldn't mix anything with it, only 7-Up. I was too young to drink it just as well. I was a long time ago. The place was lousy with alcohol. Everybody was drunk. All the men, most. It only took a couple ounces to knock your head off. Belgian hand brand skull and crossbones. And then the Corinthian went ashore on Batson, and they had to wreck her. See, we had some of the men home for a week offer. They sent my mother a handkerchief 40 years later. We kept them a week home with us before somebody come and got them. The ship went on Batson's buoy, or shoal. And Bill Brennan was the diver on her. Man, you can't believe what went on there. What robbers. She was loaded with everything. What a mess going on. All the Allen line was on everything in everybody's house. We had all this stuff from ashore. And these tin cans of cigarettes. I remember I was only a kid. Tin cans about that big. Skull and crossbones or something. They're cigarettes. And were they strong? But they were floating over the dock everywhere. And us kids, you know, we'd get them. Here they are, absolutely dry. Well, we all wouldn't have killed ourselves sucking on these cigarettes down under the wharf. My Lord, they were awful strong. So that's where we learned to smoke the hard way. Weren't they strong, those cigarettes? But they were dry. What was he going to do there? They was going, we'd pick up the can. Where were we going with cigarettes? We soon learned to smoke.
Okay, Mr. Dakin, how does Westport look now compared to when you were growing up?
Oh, it's much nicer now.
Much nicer?
Oh, yeah. Oh, they got money to Westport. Quite a lot of money, some of them. They've done well lobster fishing in the last few years, but they've also inherited a lot. The government took a hold and gave them back free time. I said, you shouldn't worry about the government. You fellows over here, they gave you a boat for the boat that sunk. They gave them $350,000 for one. They built them new wharves and everything. I said, what are you growling about? Plus now, it's not fair, but you can't get in lobstering anymore. I had, the other day, I went for fun and got my lobster license out. 25 cents. I paid for it. I should have kept it. If I'd have kept it and just set a few traps, no matter what it cost me, I would have made money. I could have sold it for $125,000. Just the license. I paid 25 cents.
So you had to pay 25 cents. That was for the license?
Yeah.
Amazing.
But I had my license. I showed it to somebody, see? And I was getting too old then. I couldn't handle it. I was worn out. I was 60-odd years old when they first commenced to make money. We got, what, lobsters for 25 cents a pound. All we did is take the jinks home, cook them, and I put up 75 cans. I had a little canner there. We had plenty of good lobsters to eat, more than you get now. Get a lobster now costs you $15 for one small lobster. We'd say 25 cents a pound. 30 cents was tops a pound. Yeah. We didn't have anything. That's what we had. And that's the truth.
Mr. Dakin, this is my last question.
Mm-hmm.
How would you compare family values today with those in days gone by?
There's no comparison. They have everything now, most people.
So true.
The have-nots under the control. You can't do anything about that. You work at a fish firm. If they give you $8, they take away $4, at least, which leaves you $4. Yeah. You see, now the lobster fisherman, when he draws unemployment in the summer, he draws probably $500 a week, which is good for doing nothing. He's already got money. He just, but the poor bugger that draws to the fish firm, he wouldn't get a quarter of that unemployment, you see. His unemployment would be able to be, well, maybe 100 something. To him that has shall be given. The guy who's got it all gets the rest. I don't care what you say. He doesn't have to. And he gets his insurance cheaper. He gets his car insurance is nowhere near like yours. Mm-hmm. That's true. What can you do? You can't get in lobstering anymore. Not anymore. They're fighting. It's true enough. I told you a lot of lies, probably.